In this video, we want to describe regions on the real number line using both interval and set notation. Let's take a look at our first example, x is greater than 3. We can begin by drawing the number 3 on the number line. We're going to use an open circle at the number 3, and we're going to shade in everything greater than the value of 3. In interval notation, we're going to use an open bracket at 3 and go all the way up to positive infinity. And in set notation, this is the set of all x values such that x is greater than 3. In our second example, we have x is less than or equal to 3. Once more, we begin by drawing the number 3 on our number line. This time we're going to use a closed circle at 3. And we want all of the values less than 3. Using interval notation, we'll begin at negative infinity, and we're going to go up to 3. I'm going to use a closed bracket at 3 because of the closed circle. And in set notation, this will be the set of all x values satisfying x is less than or equal to 3. Let's look at some more challenging examples you might see throughout your course. Our first example is 1 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 5. Let's begin by putting the numbers 1 and 5 on our real number line. I'm going to have an open circle at 1 and a closed circle at the value of 5, and we want all x values in between these two numbers. In interval notation, we'll use an open bracket at the value of 1 and a closed bracket at the value of 5. In set notation, we might write the set of all x's satisfying x is between 1 and 5 with an equal sign here at 5. Next, let's look at x is not equal to 2. We're going to begin by putting 2 on our number line. We don't want to include the value of 2, so let's put an open circle at the value of 2, but we can take any other x value. So that includes all values greater than or less than 2. In interval notation, we're going to have two brackets. We're going to have one from negative infinity to 2. I don't want to include 2, so there's an open bracket here at 2. And then a second bracket beginning at 2 and going up to positive infinity. To connect these two brackets together, I'm going to use the union symbol. It looks like a capital U. We could write this interval in set notation by saying this is the set of all x values satisfying x is not equal to 2. Our next example is x is less than negative 3 or x is greater than 3. Let's begin by plotting both of these numbers on the real number line. So here is negative 3 and 3 is over here. Both of these values are going to have open circles. And our first region is going to be less than negative 3. So I'm going to shade in over here. And our second region is x is greater than 3, and that's the region over here. In interval notation, we'll have an interval from negative infinity up to negative 3 with an open bracket at negative 3, and we're going to join this with an interval starting at 3 with an open bracket up to positive infinity. I'm not going to write this one in set notation because I'm running out of room over here on the right. In our last example, we want to describe the region x is any real number. The region on our number line is anything, so it looks like this. To write this in interval notation, we can use the interval negative infinity to positive infinity. And as a set, we may write x satisfying x is any real number.